everyone. Today we are going to give a slide about the mini project which is called array. So actually, what is array? So arrays are data structures consisting of related data items of the same type. Arrays are static entities in that they remain the same size throughout program execution. Besides, an array is a group of contiguous memory locations related by the fact that they are all having the same name and the same type. In order to refer to a particular location or element in that array, we should specify the array's name and the position number of the particular element in that array. An array name, like other variable names, can contain only letters, digits, and underscores, and also cannot begin with a digit. The position number contained within square brackets is more formally called a subscript. A subscript must be an integer or an integer expression. So besides that, the brackets used to enclose the subscript of any array are actually considered to be an operator in C. They all have the same level of precedence as the function called operator. So now we are reaching about the definition of array. So arrays occupy the space in memory. So if we need to specify the type of each element and the number of elements in that array so that the computer may reserve the appropriate amount of memory. An array of type character can be used to store a character string also. So let us look at the example for this definition. int a, open square bracket a, close square bracket. So it means like this statement means it is going to reserve 8 elements for integer array a, which has subscript in the range 0 to 11. So let us look at more examples. int r, open bracket 90, and also int r, int z, open bracket 5, close bracket. So these two statements means that they are going to reserve 90 elements and 5 elements for integer array r and z respectively. So these arrays have subscript arranging from 0 to 89 and also 0 to 4 respectively. The elements of an array can be initialized when the array is defined following the definition with an equal sign and braces, curve bracket containing a comma separated list of initializers. So if there are a number of initializers that are less than the elements in that array, the remaining elements are initialized to 0. So let us look at the example. A, open square bracket 9, close square bracket is equal to 2, 4. So this explicitly initializes the first element to 2 and the second element to 4. But what about the rest 7 elements? So the remaining 7 elements are actually being initialized to 0 because the number of initializers are fewer than the number of elements in the array. So it's always very important to remember that arrays are not automatically initialized to 0. So you must at least initialize the first element to 0 for the remaining elements to be automatically 0. Arrays elements are initialized before program start up for static arrays and at runtime for each
start.
So actually it's also very important to pass arrays to function. So if we really want to pass an array argument to a function, specify the name of that array without any brackets. Unlike character arrays that contain strings, other array types do not have a special terminator. For this reason, the size of an array is passed to a function so that the function can process the proper number of elements. C automatically passes arrays to function by reference, the call function can modify the element values in the caller's original arrays. The name of the array evaluates to the address of the first element if the array because the starting address of the array is passed. The call function knows precisely where the array is stored. Therefore, when the call function modifies array elements in its function body, it's modifying the actual elements of the array in their original memory locations. So lastly, to pass an element of an array to a function, the subscripted name of the array elements is used as an argument in the function call. So in real life, we are going to use sorting arrays, and then by using sorting arrays, we need to placing the data into a particular order, such as ascending or descending order, which is the most important computer applications in our real life. One sort of techniques is called the bubble sort or the sinking sort, because the smaller values gradually bubble their way upward to the top of the array, like air bubbles rising in water, while the larger values sink to the bottom of the array. The technique. So talking about applications, bank sorts all checks by account number, so that it can prepare individual bank statement at the end of each month. Besides, telephone companies sort their list of accounts by last name, and within that by first name, to make it easy to find phone numbers.
So after you understand what is array, we now goes to the application of array in real life. Our group have think out programs to calculate the band result using the array. For the teachers, to easier them to separate the result of the students, either the student want to attend a BBI class or not. And inside the program, we will calculate the average of the band results, the highest band result in the group of the member, and the median between the elements you key in.
Now we start our program. We discuss the algorithm of the program first. First, the algorithm, every program has to be, they have to open a new program. For every program, the first step you need to do is to open a new program. The second step is that you have to declare the variables. Declare the variables, and in this case, the arrays, they have a specific set of data which you must limit the number of data. So we limit the number of data to 50. Data to 50. And in every program there must be a description for the user to know what the program is all about. So the next step is to printf the program description. What is the program all about?
Follow your words. Write carefully. Sorry, never mind.
And then we want to know the number of data the user want to input. So we also printf this thing so that the user will input the number of data he wants to input. And then we prompt the user again to enter the marks for the number of students declared earlier. And we sort the number because we want to calculate the median. We sort the number and arrange them using sorting arrays. And then we enter the formula of median. printf the median using the data before this, and we enter the formula for, we input in the computer the formula for average, and then we print out the average of the data given. We have also the highest number landmark achieved with the formula and the result. So we have three conditions for this thing. We will print the result for three conditions according to the average mark. So that's the end of algorithm.
And process.
Oh yeah, and process. That's the end of algorithm. Proceed to flowchart. Okay. After we know the algorithm of the thing, we can transfer it to flowchart. Flowchart is actually same to algorithm, but it's in a form of flowchart. The first one is this processor, which start or end. Then start or end statement, but we start with start. Right? So this one is a processor. Here we'll declare the variables. Set array limit below 50, below or equals to 50, and we print output the description of the project. And then we prompt the user to enter the number of students or data. Should I talk or what?
No. Draw first. After you draw one step, then you start talking. I mean, one step, draw one step, you talk. Draw one step, you talk.
Okay. After this, after the thing, if data is less than or equals to 50, we'll proceed to the next step. If it is not, then we'll go back to this step before to prompt the user to enter the number of datas below 50 this time. And after that, we prompt the user to input the benchmark for the respective students, number of students she or she declared earlier. After that, we have the number of the benchmark for every student. You sort the numbers and we arrange them in order to find the median. But we'll print the sorted number first before finding the median. Then input in the computer, it's not output, input in the computer the formula for median. Then print the median. Or you can see output. And then input formula average. Output the average marks. Then we have input the formula for highest band mark. Then output the highest band mark. So after this we have three conditions. We have three. Put the highest band mark. We have three conditions after this. Every result came out. Result came out. We have a process, decision making processor. If we have three conditions, if the average is greater than or equals to 4, then we will print F, print congratulations. If it is false, that means it's less than 4, it is equals to 3, we print out satisfactory. And if it is false, which means it's lower than 3, which means it's 1 and 2, we'll print out need to take BBI course. And then the same processor, we end the program.
So now we come to the pseudocode part run in the programs. Firstly, in the program, you need to include stdio.h to goes to the preprocessor and include conio.h. Okay, there is the include and we start the function with in main void. After in main void, you open the braces, okay, and you declare the variables. For I is the counter in the array. J is used to find the maximum number, and max also using in the formula of finding highest band of result. N is used to correct the data of the user, that how many students need to key in. Median is used to calculate the medians, and A50 is the array. Swap is using in the bubble swap. Then float average and sum. Because sum and average, maybe we will get a floating point, right? So we will use float or you can declare into the float. So now we start the program with printf. This is the system that collects result of UPM students. The system will calculate the average and the median for the result. This statement will help you to understand what is the program is. Okay, then we go to another line of printf. Please enter the number of merge results that you needed to process. Scanf, %d, and n. So this is meaning you need to key in how many students you want. For example, if you want to key in 20 students, the marks, then you put 20. Okay, after that we go to the while loops. This while loops is to limit the user not to input the result over 50 times. Because over 50 times, the array cannot store the elements already. So we need to put these while loops up to help the user not to put over 50 integers. So inside the while loops, printf error occurs. The system cannot calculate so many results together. This is help the users to understand. And printf scanf is to give the chance for user to key in the data again. So after that, we close the braces and goes to another loops. Printf, please enter the respective band for students. That means for the first student, second student, third student goes until you want 20 students, for example. So this statement will help you to know 1 is how many bands, 2 how many bands. Like that. Then go to the for loops. For I equals to 1, I smaller equals to n, and I plus plus. This I is a counter. Help you to calculate from the first element until the n elements you key in. Okay? So scroll down, printf and scanf is to store the elements inside the array. Okay, then go to the if. If array more than 6 or array less than 1, printf invalid band enter. This is to prevent the user not to key in the wrong band, because as you know, band result is from band 1 to band 6 only. So we put the conditions to limit band 1 and band 6. Other than that, the band is wrong and invalid. Else, continue. That means if you key in 1 to 6, the statement will continue to other loops. Okay? So now we go to the sorting loops. This loop is to sort the array, the element inside the array. For I equals to 1, I smaller equals to n minus 1, I plus plus. Why I smaller n equals smaller or equals to n minus 1? This is because the sorting will always 1 time less than the number of element in the array. Like if you got 50 element in the array, it only needs sorting of 49 times only. So we put I smaller equals to n minus 1. Okay? Then for j equals to I plus 1, j smaller equals to n and j plus plus. This is the technique for the swapping called bubble sorting. Bubble swap. So this is the thing called bubble sorting. Swap is the temporary places to hold the array to compare. Temporary places for swap. Then AI, open brace, open close bracket I is the array, the element compared with the temporary holding. If the temporary holding is bigger or smaller than that, then it will change the place and start the sorting. Okay, continue. Then sorting is n. Now we go to the formula to calculate median. If n equals 0, then median, because median, as you know, there are different conditions, right? Different situations, the median also will change for an odd number or an even number. So we put the if-else conditions to make the formula to change according to your number of data that key in. So if even number, median will become this formula. If odd number, median will become this formula. Okay? So after the formula, we use printf processing. This is the statements to give the user to wait again, wait sometimes. So after that, for I equals to 1, I smaller than n and I plus plus, this is another loop to shows the result of the median. Because you got so many elements in the median, you need to print out so many times. So you need a for loop to print out the whole elements in the array. So after print out the elements in the array, so we go to the for loops to calculate the maximum band result, highest band result. This is if max smaller than AI, then max equals to AI. This is the ways to find the largest number. Okay? Then go. After maximum, then we go to average. So average also, you input some formulas, help you to solve the average only. Sum equals to sum plus AI. That means when the loop is going and going, the element will accumulate up, add up, and add up. Then average is to calculate the add up, divide by the total number you key in. You can find the average. Okay? After that, we go to a conclusion part that print out the average is how much, and print out the highest band result achieved by the students is how much. This is the conclusions for the result. And according to the result, I have used if and else, if and nested if else statements to separate the students into the few situations that no need to attend the BBI class or need to attend the BBI class. Okay? If the average of the band result is more or equal than 4, then the student is very good students and above average for the whole groups. So they no need to attend the BBI class. And if average more or equal than 3, the band result is still satisfaction and also can avoid to go to the BBI class. But if the average less than 3, then that means the student is not very good in their English. So they need to attend the BBI class. This helps the teachers to separate the students into different groups. So after that, we can end our result with catch, void, and return 0. Then after that, close the bracket. Pause. So after we finish discussing our programs, we need to introduce to doctor about our names and the part of job of we done. Okay, my name is Lim Chin Sing, and I am thinking out the program of the system and introduce to the pseudocodes.